Hello, creatives, community, kind folks. Sorry for the delay. Life is going to life. You know what I mean. Today, we're going to talk about Andor Season 2, Episode 7-9. I know at the airing of this discussion, uh, the finale has already aired last night, but we're going to talk about this one. And we haven't had an opportunity to talk about Andor um, these 3 episode blocks, and this one is pretty unique in terms of how many people think it's a masterpiece. Uh, Again, I haven't even seen the end yet, so we're going to talk about Deidre, that's on the thumbnail, and some of these other characters, and of course, we're going to use this through the lens of tabletop role-playing games. So, put up your feet, grab your snacks, and join us in our discussion of Andor Season 2, Episode 7-9. So, hello everyone! Yay, my chat is here. I'm so happy. Slight update. Channel was shut down. Death in the family. People from out of state. The whole 9 yards. Unfortunately, there has been another death in the family of that family unit. It's on my wife's side. Gentleman named David. He suffered from. Have already watched it, Drew? Oh man, I know you want to talk about it, but I am behind. But a family member suffered from Prader-Willi syndrome. It is he was on the spectrum. Wasn't normally someone that suffers from that doesn't live much past their 30s. He lived into his mid-50s until passing away. So. Had a wonderful life, and I bonded with him. So, yeah, we were of similar age. Although his mental acuity might have been limited, we did bond. So, my wife's going through that too. Anyway, life is going to life, like I've mentioned before. All right, Andor, and so many of these characters. I put on the thumbnail. I said, pick one. Love, hate, her. Oh, it's all right, Spook. You had some great comments there the other day too. Yeah. Yep. Mid-50s. It is the proverbial reading the obituary section of the newspaper era of my life, and it's unfortunate, but that's a real thing too. So, yeah, dude. Yeah, it's just. I do have a day off, so after this airs, I'm going to be able to console my wife and talk to the rest of the family and things like that. So, yeah, my uncle is still alive. He's in his 80s, and unfortunately, his wife and child have just passed away. So, with one close to the other. So he's in. I can guarantee you, he's in psychological dire straits. And so family's really worried about him. This is where we have escapism, and healthy escapism is always good. And Star Wars has always given us a place to escape to, except that Tony Gilroy and the people that have designed the creators here for Andor have done such an excellent job, but it's pretty depressing. And I was going to put in a thumbnail the rise of the NPCs, and so allow me to present to you a situation in Andor that I absolutely think is a masterpiece. So many people that were like, this show sucks and it's not very exciting. It's just a bunch of people talking and walking through rooms and things like that. Allow me to present to you my tabletop role-playing lens of Andor and the masterpiece that this is. Something, and this has been done before. plot armor seems to only be. Thanks, Drew. Please try not to. Although, listen, I'm still gonna watch it. There's no way, no matter what you present, still gonna watch the end. Maybe even right after the airing of this episode. But if we want a masterclass in talking about characters who do not have plot armor, who can be taken out as if they were, 1 to 5 hit point NPCs at any moment, and were given the time and energy to express themselves as characters and then get taken out by an errant die roll. The episodes from 7 to 9 absolutely positively show that. The care that was given to these, I'm going to call them NPCs, it's so wrong of me, to the actors that were given their lines to then just be taken out for the express purpose of telling a great story is amazing, because they didn't need to put in characterization for characters they were going to eradicate 30 seconds later, right? Now, mind you, we did live with them for many hours, if you really think about it. From episode 1 through 9 of season 2, there's some of these characters we've got to see a little bit longer, and that length of time gives us, we get to sit with them quite a bit, but still the care that was taken. And the reason why I'm calling them NPCs is because we know that Andor, specifically in this television show, with the arrival of the Force expressed somewhat openly without using those words in the show, and some people found that to be a little bit startling, but Star Wars has told us that the Force flows through everything and around us and whatnot, and that is a lost religion, and there are people who've always been skeptical of it, and that Andor is a character who is a messenger, and of course, a spoiler alert, a messenger, someone who has seen and been a part of and been he's the individual that can give the voice to the horrible things that have happened up until this point, and it's awesome. Drew says episode 7 had a very interesting character with the Force Healer. I liked how Cassian thought of her, and I liked the Force Healer too, because it wasn't, I mean, she even said sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and she was almost like walking around with like a sixth sense in terms of it gave us the opinion that even the woman that was this Force healer didn't even understand what she could do, but she was just allowing herself to be led by it. And where she just looks up and is like, "You're important. Let me come over to let me help your shoulder out a little bit." And he's just like, because like, what was her name? His mom, Marv, was just like, "Oh, there's a bunch of people. I don't like the Force healer because she didn't like them, and these people are what is it, snake oil salespeople and whatnot in the universe," which makes a lot of sense, right? And it's funny how this show forgave Force healing. Is it Maeve? I can't remember that. Yeah, Mava. I can't remember what he had a name for it. I sorry, apologize for not getting his being the specificity, but we get the point that a character like Andor, and I'm sure plenty of other people are like, listen, you can't live your life on faith and luck and a mysterious force. It's like you have to be. We've got to get skills and we've got to be good. And there's a lot of dangerous things that happen in and around him. See, right. And here's the thing. We forgave. I haven't seen any reviews of force healing being horrible. Yet when it was done in a movie, it was like, where'd force healing come from? It was pretty amazing. Also, it brings to light that Andor is surrounded by so many NPCs that he's just like, Like, all these people can get popped off at a moment's notice. I'm probably going to be one of them if I don't, like, I'm pushing my luck. And in a tabletop role-playing game, like, he's the only character that's got those moxie, luck points, fate points, inspiration, whatever you want to call it, where everybody else doesn't have. And it's a pretty interesting way to see it. And I sound like I'm making fun, but I'm actually not, because this corner of the Star Wars universe filled with these, and I'm calling them NPCs, is because oftentimes this is the kind of thing that's a footnote, and it really lends itself to world building, and I love it. I think I agree with everyone else that seems to find this thing to be as close to a masterpiece as possible, if not the true thing. And Tony Gilroy and the staff, the creators that were able to create the tension for the Gorman massacre, was amazing. Horrible to watch too. Yeah, the force healing is super vague in Andor, similar to faith healers in the real world. Exactly. And honestly, like, I love how vague it was placed in the show, because yes, we fans are going like, oh, she healed his shoulder through the force, but did she really do it? Because you didn't see anything. There wasn't a great light. There wasn't like this big conflagration, whatever. There wasn't a lot of fanfare about it. And I even think Bix felt that energy, and maybe she was open to it more than I think even Andor, because Bix was like, yeah, I know Andor, and I've known him for years, and this woman just confirmed, like, he's an important dude, and if I stick around, he won't be his potential. So I got to get the hell out of here. And I'm sacrificing my own, from Bix's point of view, I'm sacrificing my own joy, my own peace, and desires for the betterment of the universe, because Andor is important. He's an important cog in the machine. And to be honest with you, despite the fact that this show is excellent, Andor is a very minor cog in a larger machine, right? Like, at no time did we think, I wonder what this secondary character was that helped get the plans to the Death Star. Like, none of us thought that. And Andor also isn't really a nice guy, in the sense of, like, he murder kills people pretty regularly, and there's not a lot of fanfare when he does that kind of thing too. So he's, despite the fact of how important he is, as a good character. I mean, when I say good, I mean like goodness in the tabletop role playing sense, as in doing the right thing and being lawful and being just and honorable. And he falls on the darker side of getting things done. And I'm not saying that he's not justified. I'm saying that, as far as characters are like, I don't want to kill, or I want to give this person a chance, or give them a way out, or distract them. I'm going to knock them out instead of, shooting them in the chest in broad daylight because the guy was a driver, and maybe he was, or maybe he wasn't going to change his mind. But we don't have time for that, NPC. You're getting shot in the chest because you only got 2 hit points, right? This show is so good with that. And the thumbnail I said, pick one: love, hate, her, the Empire. We get to see in this show hyper expedite. This show doesn't have force powers in it. The force healer telling Andor that essentially it's important for him to be in the place he needs to be, is as much force as we're going to get in this show, that I believe. Some people are expecting like Luthen and his assistant to maybe draw a lightsaber by the end of the show. Please don't let me know this, Drew, if it happens. Whether it happens or not, It's still excellent. No, no, no. Uh, Ray, yeah, Ray going from 0 to 11. Yeah, that's a Joseph Campbell hero's journey trope-ish kind of thing that happened in the movies. This show is not like that at all. I got to give a special shout out to one of my favorite NPCs in this show, and that's the hotel doorman concierge dude that basically was like, dude, not only do I remember you, Andor, from like last year when you pretended to be some kind of fashion aficionado or something like that, but I also know your credentials aren't good, so I'm gonna hook you up and send you to the exact same room that you were in before, because me and you, hell yeah. And Andrew was just like, no, that's not true. And the guy's like, yeah, whatever, I get you. And he was down from the count. If it wasn't for the fact that he was a concierge, there is no trivialization of it. Nope, none at all. It's a mystery. It is it's an unexplored part of the background of this world, and it's great. Oh, wow. Okay. I wondered if they would keep Luthen as a mystery character, one of those mystery NPCs or something like that. And I don't know if you've noticed this, Drew, and some of you other guys. I've noticed how Luthen, through this show, Luthen's dominance has started to shrink, while is it Clea? Clea's dominance has started to increase, and I like that. I could see they're building in like Luthen's exhaustion, his fatigue. Not that he's not dedicated to what he's doing, but he's suffering a lot under the strain of the lies that he's taken, and Mon Mothma's rise to prominence, and the fact that they can't lead themselves with lies and deceit any longer. It's really subtle, but it's really good. It's a great characterization by not making Luthen this perfect Decepticon of a character where he's just using lies and stealth and misinformation and things like that, and all the way to the end that it did start to crumble under its own weight, where Mon Mothma's like, I'm more scared of you, Luthen, at this point than anything. And of course, Luthen dressed in Dark Jedi Sith fashion from now on. He's just like, I'm not putting that wig on again. I am not going to put on this effete demeanor anymore. It's really, really great characterization. Even Mon Mothma's speech, oh man, so many great aspects of this in terms of the characterization of evil in this show, and how we fall for and actually like root for some of these characters that are on the bad guy side, clearly a bad guy side, and how the Empire. I remember for back in the day, there were people that were just like wanted to pick the Empire as their like favorite characters and symbols, and this show makes, there is no maybe if kind of, the Empire is completely corrupt and evil from the bottom to the top, and that everybody's responsible for continuing the dominance of this fascist regime. And despite the fact that there are many different variables in that, it's crazy how Deidre and Cyril and some of these people are, they claim to know what's going on, and they claim to be like, no, we're on the side of good, and then realizing like, yeah, you think that, but at the end of the day, it's when you see it, when you're that close to it, it's a lot different than writing down plans from far away. Drew says, so I personally do not like the concepts of evil or talk of monsters, but I give it to the show. It really worked in Mon Mothma's speech. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, listen, anybody, y- you know, describing what is evil, air quotes, can be difficult. But let's just say that taking away other people's freedom or their ability to live and operate in a free state, and the further you go in terms of consciously or subconsciously doing that, I think you could make the case that you could describe evil in that manner, right? Like Deidre's plan. Hey, Deidre, thanks for making a plan. That guy was like, I'm the trigger, you're the finger. Even though that guy basically was like, even though I'm lower rank than you, I'm supposed to get this thing done, and you don't have a choice. The Emperor wants you to pull the trigger. You're the finger, I'm the trigger. And that was like a weird, like, oh no, you're in control, but you're not. No, you're higher ranked than me, but there's no way you're going to tell me what to do, right? And yeah, that's crazy. And even some people were making a big deal about the fact that Cyril did cause physical harm to Deidre, his romantic, I don't know if you want to call it romantic partner, by like choking her and stuff. And clearly, at that point, it didn't matter whether she was. It didn't matter. Her gender didn't matter. She represented everything he stood for and the lie that it was that he was told this entire time. Because he's always been about law and order, and Andor was a representation of the fact that Andor killed some security forces. Now, mind you, those security forces back on, what was it, the first episode of this show of season 1, they weren't exactly upright citizens. Did they deserve to be killed the way they were? Maybe, maybe not. Probably, right? But yeah, it really did happen, and the fact that it happened on Disney Plus show and the Disney corporate that allow that to happen. I mean, even today, in the era that we have, to even have that kind of violence happen to someone like that, is not someone. A guy exerting that kind of violence against a woman is pretty faux pas now. But her gender didn't matter. She represented the Empire and the lies and the deceit and the manipulation that Cyril felt. And to her credit, she afterwards still was like, hey, listen, we can get away from here. Like, we could still be together. I think he was a bit of a her arm candy, like her trophy. That was her trophy husband. I don't know, they're married, whatever. You know what I mean? That was her trophy boyfriend or whatever. I don't know if she considered him an equal at all. No, but I think she considered him the best outcome of a life under the Empire. I mean, she mentioned that she lived in a kinder block, that she was raised under this regime. So what else was she going to do but be this individual in this regime? I mean, even her skills in this world were trying to be tamped down. Like, she really did she was an excellent investigator, and she did have things to say but kept her mouth shut, and she did try to express a smile. She has this the actress, she's an actor, perfectly encapsulated this character, Deidre. She's excellent, and I love it. I know she's not going to last too long, and Cyril, I wish he lasted a little bit longer, but he needed to die when he died. And great characterization for a writer to take these characters that even writers may fall in love with these characters, but go, you know what? The story's got to go where it's got to go. It's great. Drew says, I like how the show brought Melky back with the blaster. Yep, Andor gave him. Yep, absolutely. And Val recognized it from their time of the Aldani heist. There's a lot of little Easter eggs that I'm like, I know that from somewhere. And because now, mind you, was it a little bit heavy? Was that and K2SO's origin a little bit heavy-handed? I think it was a little heavy-handed. I'm going to forgive it. it felt. I felt like the show gave it attention that the show doesn't normally give attention to important aspects of that. Like, I would have liked it better. This is such a minor criticism. I would have liked it better if Andor offhandedly said like, oh, and grab that KX unit. They're monsters and they're dangerous. We need a weapon like that for the rebellion or something like that, or for our future fight or something, and just walked away. It's sort of, instead of stopping and pausing and saying, hey, I need your help, and then later we see, but that's just me. Drew says, I think all the actors had been great. I've said it before, it is the best acting Star Wars ever had. Absolutely. Oh my God. Okay. Allow me to describe a characterization in this way. In episode, I believe it was 7 or 8, we hear an audio of a woman crying for help to help her people in the Gorman massacre. We eventually see her, but we hear an audio overplay over top of the chaos and the genocide that's happening, the murdering. And it was the written dialogue of someone drowning, and it is perfect. The slight the Star Wars has that slight crackle in their communications network where it sounds like an old style, like World War I, World War II radio, where it's got that canned. It's not 4K HD audio, right? It's got that canned audio, and they modulated it just slightly, where all her words sounded like she was at this treading water, and it just kept getting worse, as if something was like grabbing her legs and pulling her down. It's so good. The characterization of it was so excellent. So many of the characters, heck, even I'm gonna dare say, even Mon Mothma's driver was the actor that played Mon Mothma's driver didn't need to add as much character into his lines as he did. Such a minor throwaway person who, what was he changing his mind about reporting to the Empire when he got out of the Aerodyne car to go find Mon Mothma when he was reporting to the Empire? Was he on the verge of like, should I let her know? And then got killed at that point? I mean, even the fact that there might have been a question about that. Cyril's mom, the horror story, the horror that she was a victim of her own. She's a product of her own society on Coruscant and the Empire, and even her crying over Cyril's sacrifice and whatnot is like, man, these characters and their characterizations were awesome. I mean, did we feel sorry for her? I don't know. Pick one. Do you love or hate her? You know, do you love them and hate the Empire, or vice versa, or whatever? It's so good, so good. Even Deidre's breakdown, where she sees the genocide happening, and she kind of like unconsciously like reaches for her throat after being hurt, and she's getting like the shakes and whatnot. And even though she said, basically she enacted, she was the finger for the trigger, and she knows that her doing this is going to grant her more privileges within the Empire, this fascist society, and yet she's starting to have a little bit of a withdrawals and whatnot. Oh, great. This show is great. So much of it is awesome. Even the Gormans, the characterization of the Gormans and the chanting and then flowing into the song at the end there, and then the sacrifice. I almost Drew says, I hope someone is writing the Edie Karn Star Wars story already. Is Edie Karn the young man that joined temporarily with Saul Guerrera? Is it that character give me a description of that, because I don't remember. Sorry to say, bad Star Wars geek, bad. I don't remember all the names. It's sorry. And to Tony Gilroy's writing credit, they don't make a point of saying someone's name 3 times in rapid succession so that it sticks in the brain. You're just supposed to know who these characters are. And for those who don't know, there's a method where, in writing, to introduce a character, Cyril's mother. Oh yes, okay, yes, what a great character. What a great character. I mean, was she crying because Cyril did the ultimate sacrifice that's going to raise her status? Well, I'm terrible with names anyway, but yeah, I'm terrible with names anyhow. But the show doesn't go out of its way in the writing to ensure that you remember everyone's name. There's a way to do that in writing, where you introduce someone's name and you have the various characters mention their name multiple times, but in real dialogue we don't do that, right? But yeah, Cyril's mom, the actress who plays the actor that plays Cyril's mom, brilliant character. And you know, is she no longer has her little baby that she can push around? Is she crying because of her natural evil status of, like, I don't get to verbally abuse and just constantly psychologically, you know, neuter this gentleman that's my son? I don't know. Is she truly sad that maybe she feels like she feels bad for the way she raised her son and treats him or whatever, you know, emasculating him at every moment? I mean, hell, even Deidre could be accused of emasculating him. I mean, did he just replace his mom with another woman that was like that? Yeah. Anyway, this show is awesome, and I think we are a tabletop role-playing corner of the universe. The idea that these characters are growing and shifting and have their own opinions, and despite the fact that they're not long for this life, that they have particular goals and whatnot, is a world builder's chef's kiss with this show. I'm going to point out another character. I don't know his name. I apologize. He was one of the Gorman. In episode 8, he's got the Gorman worker's hat on, and he ends up taking the hat off and starts singing the Gorman national unity song. Even his character, it's great. Amon says, you also can be sad how the last conversation with someone might have played out because now you can't fix that anymore. Yes, the idea that because we often see this characterized in stories and then in real life, where someone is unable to finish a conversation with someone. So classically, we see this in stories where 2 people have an argument with each other, and despite the fact that we know they love each other and care for each other, they say things that are horrible, and then that person passes away, and now you can't go back, you can't apologize for it, you can't go back and change it. This person feels like you weren't on their side before they passed away, and this show really does a good job in terms of like, yeah, guess what? You're not even going to get the opportunity to say goodbye. Apparently, Cyril had I'm going to say intimate, non-physical, but an intimate relationship with one of the Gorman uprisers, Gorman rebellion, young lady that was part of the rebellion and insurgents, or whatever they want to call them, right? And she slaps him in the face, and there's not many words said, but you're like, there was something building there. Not romantic, but like we were on the same side. Like, we were both coming to an agreement of, there's something wrong here and it could be changed from the inside, and never got an opportunity to finish that conversation. She gets thrown, I don't know, was it triple digit meters through the air and dies, which, you know, that's another trope that happens in movies where a strong, powerful thing happens and someone gets thrown through the air, and it's like, oh, I'm just going to roll on the ground and get back up again. And it's like, this person was thrown pretty far and landed on the concrete. I don't think they're going to survive. And they showed us that. It was pretty like, oh, wait, aren't we going to see this character some more? Nope. Drew says, I think the show gave all the names, but they did not spell out every detail. Exactly. I mean, in episode 9, the ISB agent that was referred to as Jung's agent. Yeah. Oh, yes. I love it. It's very naturalistic language, which I don't have a problem with. Listen, it's not a fault of the show. It's a fault of me. This revealed how Luthen knew, since Jung is his insight to Lonnie. Yes, they actually showed. If I can go backwards. Mon Mothma's. I'm going to call him her body man. They showed Luthen talking to him during the Mon Mothma's daughter's wedding in the background. The classic flight atmosphere. And in that episode, Luthen's talking to him in the background, and then you realize that because the show is, years are happening, there's a year happening between all these events, that Luthen basically turned him. And even after Mon Mothma was like, told her body man, like, you get out, I can't believe you, this is the worst betrayal at all. And his response was, it's been an honor. And actually, he left, but he was still loyal to her. He was like, my ass is not getting out of here. I'm still going to protect her because she's worth that much. And what a great characterization, right? It wasn't black and white. It wasn't like she said, you offended me and turned against me, and I don't like you. And he didn't go fold his arms and pout and go, well, I don't like you either. He was like, you know what? Yeah, I get it. It was great. Erskine was his name. Yeah, Drew says, yes, that was also a great character. I knew he will survive since one could see him in the Rebels show later. Oh, I didn't realize he was in another show later. But great, right? He was just like my ass ain't getting out of here. I promise to protect you, and the best I can, I'm gonna still look out for you. And great characters. I mean, even going back to the doorman, like the doorman was just like, no, I'm down for the count. Like, tag me in, coach. I'm gonna throw a bomb at the door and take out some of these stormtroopers and possibly take myself out because I'm down for this, right? Like, and sometimes in tabletop role-playing games, we make NPCs kind of one-dimensional because they're just there to spew information, or they're there for comedy relief, or they're there to carry supplies for our fantasy games, for our tabletop role-playing game or something. But given how these characters were developed in this show, the way they were written, our brains could stitch together, dare I say, like a spider spinning a web on Gorman with those great fabrics that they were known to create. Our brains, I know I put together backgrounds for these characters and their motivations that weren't specifically spelled out in the show, excuse me, but really did a good job in telling me, like, most of the characters in the show, most of the NPCs were very well developed icebergs. I don't know how they grew up. I don't know who their family and friends were. I don't know exactly where they're going to go in the next step, but I do know they have a life outside of this, and that when the camera's off of them, they're doing things. They have a motivation, and they will probably continue down their own chosen paths, whether they live or die in the next 5 minutes, right? And great iceberg NPCs to just great. Just like I mentioned, the Mon Mothma's driver, I bet he thought he was doing the right thing by reporting to the Empire, and even probably considered himself to be protecting Mon Mothma. I wouldn't doubt the Empire probably told that driver, you need to keep tabs on her because she might even be in danger or be influenced by the wrong element or something like that. And that guy was like, you got it, boss. you know whatever, good riddance to that dude, but you get the point, right? Come on, join us. It's towards the end of the show. Yeah. Hey there, buddy. That's Brutus. Brutus is a college team mascot known as Brutus the Buckeye. I don't think this cat looks like Brutus, but whatever. Drew says, also, do we talk about Willman and how he always flirted with the blondes? Oh, yes. Did they have to add that in there? You're so right. Oh man, there's so much good stuff in this show. It's so great. Yeah. I wonder if. So, oh man, and because I don't know the names, I'm gonna butcher this. So, during one of the 1 year periods, Mon Mothma's cousin's girlfriend, they had a tension-filled relationship, and because of the rebellion, they couldn't really be together the way they wanted to be. And her girlfriend gets shot in the back, basically, by friendly fire. And the gentleman that did it, basically, it's like, we don't have time for you to feel sorry for yourself. You need to make up for what you've done. And the cousin kind of chokes it down a bit. And even that character has characterization for what he did, where you get to see that he's kind of like a bit hardened, and he's kind of stepped up to the plate, like it's not just for me, but for I ended up murder killing somebody on my side, and I did there's so much goodness. As a matter of fact, I'm even going to point out one other detail that before we get out of here. There's a plan by the Empire. I'm going to call it Channel 5. There's a Channel 5 plot. The Channel 5 plot was to put a sniper up on a roof, and before the Gorman massacre started, the sniper shoots one of their own soldiers to blame it on the Gormans amassing in the central courtyard, which was the place that Grand Moff Tarkin murder-killed people, right? Yes, the finale has dropped, from what I understand. Cinta, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to come back to your comment here, Drew. The barrel of the sniper's rifle, before he shoots, they do a zero in, and someone scarred the very exit point of the barrel and put scar marks on it as if it's been used. That's a detail that some people would just ignore by just handing out props to different people. Someone actually made that weapon, like, this sniper's done this before and is pretty good at it. And man, did they make the Empire so scary. They made stormtroopers scary. Drew says Vel, Mon's cousin, and Cinta, the sad case of bury your gaze the show has, but I forgive them for that since so many people died. Yeah. I wondered about that too. I was like, wait a minute. How come those two can't be together? Everybody else tries. But yeah, you're so right. It was Vel is Mon's cousin, and Cinta. Now Cinta was more hardcore. If we look at the characterization, Cinta was Vel put on a good front in the first season and became more hardened, and Cinta was like the murder killer. Cinta was like the spy assassin who was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this shit done, and ends up getting killed in some random friendly fire, which was like, wait, what the hell happened? But like I said, the show, there's no plot armor for these characters. It's great. And also, as many people have pointed out, we don't see these characters in Rogue One, which technically we don't even have to see them in Rogue One as a writer. But most of these characters, if not all of them, most of them, we don't see in Rogue One. And without plot armor doesn't mean they're, and I think we make fun of plot armor because we know that our main character, since we know where their endpoint is, they can't accidentally die, but it's crazy. Mon Mothma was taken from a nothing burger to one of the best fictional characters. Wow. Yeah, she basically wore, what was it? The character Mon Mothma wore like, I'm going to call them purity robes. Sometimes we use props and other things like that to characterize a character. Hey, someone's wearing white and bleached robes and golds and things like that. They're good. And someone's wearing darker colors and they're sad and evil and whatnot. And yeah, she's like you said, she was a nothing burger character. Like, oh yeah, I guess she's part of rebellion. I guess. I don't know how that happened. And all of a sudden now the actress that plays I'm going to call the younger version of her, just face acting all the way. Great character. Even we noted the fact that she dropped her cloak, the blue cloak with the rope and the medallion on it, and she drops it on the ground as if to say, that was my Senate jacket and it's gone. I'm gonna just leave it right there. Great. I mean, they didn't have to have her drop her jacket, but it was a physical representation of no turning back. That's my. I suppose you could relate that to what would be a good way. A Catholic priest taking their collar off, a police officer taking their sidearm and their shield armor. They're just taking their sidearm and shield and putting it on a desk. It was like, nope. Strip the cloak off, I'm out. Game of Thrones did the same thing with the Hound, I think, where he took his cloak off and put it around Sansa's shoulders and never put the cloak back on. Yeah, Cap Teague says, rewatched Rogue One recently, loved Admiral Raddus. Yeah. Mon says, I have to speak with him. Nah, he's going to return to his ship. He's going to fight. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people have mentioned of rewatching Rogue One with a new light, and that says a lot about the writing to rewatch something and see it in a different, to see it characterized differently and going, oh, that's why that gives that so much more meaning. Drew says they have casted her back for the prequels already, even though she ended not in any of the prequel movies, but it was neat they used her in Rogue One and in Andor as well, talking about Mon Mothma. There's, from what I understand, I gathered that there were a number of characters they want to bring back for this Andor series to kind of slot in between, to show us that they're going to go directly into Rogue One, and I think that's awesome. Well, hello. Is it heathen you're looking for? So anyway, guys, thank you very much for letting me just rant about this. But to circle back a little bit, to summarize a little bit for tabletop role-playing games, that sometimes it's the small things that really mean a lot for characterizing minor characters and giving enough. The writers of the show, Tony and Dan Gilroy and all the writers' room, and all the developers, the people that made the outfits and all that kind of stuff, for this show about NPCs is a masterclass of letting us know this is a real world. And despite the fact that in the very next scene, we may say goodbye to these characters, and you may have grown to love, because remember, the Gormans, from my point of view, I didn't know anything about the Gormans at all, and we got half a season to get to know them and then say goodbye to them. It's great. So, wow, I had no idea how late it is. Gotta head to bed. Good night. You too. You too. Thank you for waking up to this, or rather putting this on your end cap. And I'm glad that my dulcet tones could put you to sleep. I appreciate that. They had to recast Bail Organa. Yes, Benjamin Bratt had to step up because they couldn't. There was actual real scheduling conflicts with Jimmy Smith, so Benjamin Bratt had to step in for it. I thought it was. This is my personal opinion. I thought it was weak sauce where Bail Organa had to be like, "Well, I can't leave because of reasons." And I was like, I know you're supposed to be there when Yoda shows up and the twins and stuff. I think they could have come up with a little bit more. I mean, yeah, he explained it like I need to be here because we need time, and Yavin is not ready yet and stuff. But I don't know. I think they could have come up with something a little bit better. But it was cool about how he used Robert's Rules of Order to to hand over the mic to Mon Mothma. He was pretty slick. Well, you mentioned emergency like 5 times, and technically in the rules, if you say emergency, then I get to speak, but then also I'm allowed to pass my mic over to somebody else, and you're not allowed to interrupt and stuff. Yeah, that's Robert's Rules of Order, I think it's called. Yeah, they had to recast Organa since the other actor who always played him had no time. Jimmy Smits, I believe his name. I think they did that also. Saw in the show showing in episode 6, he is recast before him becoming relevant in episode 9. And they did, from what I understand, they did that on purpose. They introduced Benjamin Bratt as Bail Organa so that people would talk about it to get it out of their system, so that when he comes back with a full dialogue, that we aren't like, I don't understand why they changed him. You know how people get all bent out of shape by different actors portraying the same character, because sorry to tell people, the character is still the same character. The actor, no offense, the actor doesn't matter. The actor's job is to portray a character. The character has always been the same. They've done this in old school soap operas for dozens and dozens of years, where the soap opera will say the character of so-and-so will be portrayed by this person's actor, and then they just keep moving on as if there hasn't been a change. And it's done all the time. How many times have we seen Shakespeare done over and over and over again? And guess what? There's different actors that portray those roles. So it's weird how in fandom we don't understand that, but everybody else that's in like theater and television and movies understands that. So Ishtar says, even for your own character you play, what shows their character rarely are the big actions. Usually the small interactions can have so many details. Absolutely. Even things, how do I explain this? Sometimes a minor thing can give us great insight to the character. I'm going to go back to one of the Gormans that starts the singing. So in the beginning, the Gormans gather together in the square and they're chanting, we want to be seen. We're Gormans. Let us be seen. And then the one gentleman starts singing. And what he does is he's got the workman's hat, right? He reminds me of like the epitome of the blue collar worker amongst the Gormans, right? He gets his hands dirty. The actor has a face that looks like it's always grimy, in a good way. Like, hey, you need me to go down in that hole, I'm going to do it. And so he's the unionizer. He's the one that told everybody else, I don't care what you do, but don't forget we're Gore, that we are the Gorman. We're of the Gore culture. And he takes his hat off and starts singing. And it made me wonder, did he know he was going to get killed in a square? Like, was him taking his hat off going like, yeah, this is the last time I will be proud of who I am? Did he take it off out of honor to the people that died there before him? Did he do it as somebody needs to get us all together? Like, we need to understand. I need to remind everybody while we're chanting and we're pissed off and all this kind of stuff, that, you know what, we need at least one more moment to tell the world who we are. And I think all of those things were true, plus more. Was he singing because he was letting them know this is the moment you should start pulling out the Molotov cocktails and the guns out of the bags and for, you know, tucked under coats and cloaks and things like that? Was it all of that wrapped up in one song? Probably. Or maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's what I got from it. And I love the fact that I can look at this show and like as Ishtar's pointing out, you can pick different characters and go, wait a minute, this person said this. This person is wearing this particular article of clothing. This person reacted to an event in a way I wouldn't assume someone to react, but they did anyway. Like Cyril, you know, spinning around paralyzed in, you know, he's got the analysis paralysis as everyone's getting killed around him. We've seen that before in television shows where the slow-mo, ear ringing, sound effects, sound levels drop almost to zero, and you hear music or something, because, you know, we've seen that before. But to put that in Cyril's character, to say, hey, Cyril, guess what? You're on the wrong side of history there, buddy. Yeah. I would hope. Oh, here's the last thing I'm going to say. Not only how excellent the show is, everybody that complains about wanting to take their politics out of Star Wars, which is crazy, because Star Wars is literally politics incarnate. I love how this show basically gave a big middle finger and was like, no, not only am I going to show you politics, I'm going to show you which side is the wrong side of politics. Like, the show has an opinion. Well, the show doesn't. Star Wars has an opinion. The show just amplified it and was like, just to remind you, the Empire is evil. In the classic sense of evil, right? It's wrong. It's bad. It's horrible. You don't want to be their friend. You don't want to be on their side. You don't want to wear the Empire symbol and be proud of it. Like, oh man, yeah, this show really was like, remember back in the day when we thought stormtroopers were scary? No? Well, we're going to show you. Stormtroopers are dangerous. They're not young soldiers that we're going to put into the line of fire and sacrifice. We're going to show you the difference between the green young soldiers that we know are going to get their asses beat, and use them as cannon fodder so that we can put them on, what was it, the intergalactic news, and go, oh, our young soldiers who were just trying to uphold the law were sacrificed. Yeah, they're trained in fear. This show does a great job in making. Damn, they even. How did I forget this? They even had TIE fighters fly overhead, and everybody was ducking out the way of the TIE fighters. I was afraid the TIE fighters were going to start strafing everybody. I didn't know what the Gorman incident was. I was like, are they actually going to have TIE fighters fly by or hover overhead and just strafe the entire group? I was like, oh shit, it's crazy. Star Wars always had an opinion. Yep. Lucas was talking about the U.S. imperialism and the Vietnam War from the beginning. Yes, it was always about, what's the term? The industrial war, industrial military complex. It was about the unfeeling the unfeeling growth of a bureaucracy that didn't care about your feelings, the sacrifice of young people to a war machine, while those in power got to sit back in their ivory towers. And as I say this out loud, we have scenes where Deidre is reporting back to the. Please, Drew, remind me of his name. Deidre's reporting back to the ISB headquarters, and it's literally an ivory tower. It's a clean white room, pristine. What do you say to Deidre? You're expressing anxiety. Temper your anxiety or something like that. Like almost like coaching her or whatever. Like this is a game. It's crazy. This show. I think 7, 8, 9 with 8 being right in the middle is Partagas. That's it, Partagas. What a great character as well. Schedule. What was it? Schedule and what's the other term he used? God, I can't remember. But characterized but encapsulated his character. What a cold, unfeeling, agent of evil who took pride in what he did, and strangely enough, I'm a fan of him because he pointed out the underdogs in the ISB. Like he was just like, Deidre, this is why you're here. Like you're supposed to speak up. And a bunch of the other characters, Lonnie, when Lonnie spoke up and almost damn near sacrificed himself, and it was like, good job. Like, yeah. I mean, he was for an Empire character. What great characterization, right? I don't know who put together this cast of characters, but they need to work. They need to be in my favorite shows more often, a lot. Yeah. Skip work, watch the last 3 episodes, and make another stream today. Yeah. Am I a fanboy of this show? I am. I'm a fanboy of great storytelling. I don't like to waste my time on terrible things. I just don't talk about it. But I'm with you, Drew. I do feel like that. You know what? We'll have to relegate that for tomorrow because I'm going a little bit late right now. But thank you guys for finding the show again. You know how the YouTubes are. You know, you step away for a little while and you got to start from scratch. But I really appreciate it. I have my Cyberdyne Systems t-shirt on. Haven't forgotten about the AI systems, making that comment about AI eating itself. I want you guys to think about that for reals. That are we in an era where AI systems will no longer get better because they are feeding off of information? Every AI system out there that we're using or that is in use is feeding off of the bad information generated from the AI garbage that it's spewing out from every other AI system, which is why, yes, AI art could get better, but it won't because it keeps learning from and repeating the bad AI art to keep making the AI art look exactly the same. Drew says, I want so badly to talk about the prediction I made yesterday. But since I've already watched the finale already, I do not know if it would be considered spoilers. Oh, yeah. I read about AM. I don't think we are close to such stuff. Oh, you mean, or are you referring to artificial general intelligence? Yeah, we'll talk about that. But we got to do Andor. We got to do Andor, the finale tomorrow because I don't want to be spoiled. Since we're this close, Drew, please don't do it. We're this close, and I'm sure you love the show as well. But yeah, I think we can do it. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I love this show so much. Oh man. Yeah, I hope I don't know if this country is going to finally get past the whole wokeism thing. I think it sounds to me like complaints from people with very weak structures, and annoys the hell out of me. Having not seen the finale, I'm worried about a particular character. You know what? I'm the opposite. I'm at the point where I'm like, I have a feeling we're probably going to say goodbye to most of them, and be surprised about the people who live. He's like, yeah, just let my man live. Yeah. Book. I have no mouth and I must scream. That is an AI that was used in a book before Skynet. What is that from? I have no mouth and I must scream. Let me look that up. Video game short story by Harlan Ellison. Post-apocalyptic short story by American writer Harlan Ellison. First published in March 1967. 95% rating on Goodreads. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Terminator. Yep. A novel and a point-and-click game. Awesome. Toyminator. So, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Got to let you guys go and got to get out of here. The author also spoke the AI in the game. Oh, that's interesting. I'm with you there, Cap. Yeah, it's like it's a creepy title because I'm getting the visual. I'm getting a body horror stitched like mouth that's gone. You know what I mean? Like, what did they do? They did that in the Matrix movie with when Neo was taken into the interrogation room and his mouth starts to grow together and he's like, yeah. I've never seen the game. I've never seen it. We're going to leave on that one. Body horror isn't totally wrong. Yeah. So, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. Thank you very much for just having a conversation and hanging out. I really appreciate it. You guys have a great one. Thank you very much also for just coming back to the channel and just spreading the word and things. I appreciate that. So, guys, have a great one. Thank you very much. Be creative. We're going to talk about the finale of Andor tomorrow and then get back into AI systems eating themselves and are we in the AI apocalypse, especially for tabletop role-playing games? I don't know. You guys have a great one. Thank you very much. Peace and oh wait, one more comment here. The Butlerian Jihad. 100 years ago, already about machines in society. Yep. And cool thing that his name was Butler, because it kind of coincides with anyway, it's great. And yes, it was taken from the gentleman name, the Butlerian Jihad. Yep. Yeah, from Dune. That's actually a great have to add that in the conversation. All right, guys, have a great one. I'll see you later. Bye.